Giggles is the new entity from Floor 2. Everyone hates Giggles as much as Screech, but it actually makes sense, since Giggle is the real form of Screech. Before he combines with Seek Sustenance, he then turns into a Screech. So Screech is just an infected version of Giggle. If you paid attention to door 150, you can see the process of transformation of Giggles into Screech. It seems that Giggle is attracted or caught by Seek liquid, and then the transformation begins, probably taking some time. And Giggle nature is that he is very weak to light. That explains why Screech only spawns in dark rooms. Dupe finally shows his real shape. Before the update, Dupe had no shape when you checked his door interior. Now, after Floor 2, we know exactly how Dupe looks. It seems that Dupe is a living room, and has some life force through the tentacles that connects him to the cave. If you use a crucifix on him, you can enter the room and see Dupe remains, and some tentacles hanging in the roof. This means that Dupe must be a species that infects a room and makes it his home. Grumble can be seen making his way in the map. As one of the rooms you can find there are 2 tunnel paths in the room, just like Grumble worm paths in his nest. That means there are Grumbles all around the mines, but their nest is in door 150, and this explains how Grumble appeared at door 200. Another important detail is why Grumbles are aggressive to you. After escaping Seek, a Grumble will sight you and try to eat you in a cut scene. This Grumble is actually the Queen Grumble, since she has a scar in her face. After you complete Anchor C, the Queen will chase you personally. She is faster than any other Grumble and also can insta-kill you. If you die by Grumble, Queen Guiding Light will tell you the reason they attack you is because you are invading the Queen's nest. So she ordered the other Grumbles to eat you. This same Queen is the same that gets infected by Seek at door 200 at. So there will be probably Grumble Screeches, or probably named Scratches. So, after digging deeper into the lore, we've finally come to understand something pretty crazy. Seek is not just a single entity. It's much more than that. It's actually a whole nest mind. Imagine that. Instead of just one Seek chasing you down, there's an entire network of them, all connected through this strange, dark substance. What's even scarier is that just a small amount of Seek substance can actually spawn a new Seek. Even just a small amount is enough to create another one that will hunt you down relentlessly. On top of that, the infection spreads rapidly, already seen with Giggles infected by Seek substance. Now, this brings us to a huge clue about door 200. If you've been paying attention, you probably noticed how all the pipes in that area are completely infected by Seek substance. That's not just for show. It's a key part of understanding what's happening. The pipes are actually spreading the Seek infection throughout the entire building. And here's something that ties it all together. The chase scene at door 195. It's not a coincidence that the chase happens in a pipe plant. It's because the entire area is flooded with Seek's corruption, and it shows just how deep this infection goes. Seek substance is everywhere, controlling the environment, making it more dangerous the further you go. Now, when you finally reach door 200, things get really intense. You can actually see Seek shaping into different forms. For example, there's that creepy mini Seek goon, and then the terrifying Seek mega worm. These forms seem to be different manifestations of Seek's power, each one more dangerous than the last. The only way to destroy Seek might be to purify the pipes in the castle. Since the infection spreads through the pipes, getting rid of the source might be the key to cutting off Seek's ability to regenerate and multiply. It's becoming more and more clear that the entities are evolving. Rush, Ambush, Eyes, and even Hide have all developed new abilities, and that means they're adapting to make survival even harder for us. First up is Rush. We all know Rush is the fast, unstoppable force that barrels through rooms, right? But now, things have changed. Rush has learned a new move, spawning in front of you, kind of like a 120 from the rooms. This new behavior flips everything we thought we knew about how to handle Rush. Now you've got to keep an eye out in both directions, because Rush could just appear right in your path. Next, let's talk about Ambush. Normally, Ambush zooms through the room, maybe bounces back once or twice, but now, Ambush has started behaving more like Blitz, where instead of just bouncing back, it's learned to go backwards without rebounding in the usual way. This unpredictability is making it way harder to gauge when it's safe to come out of hiding, making Ambush even more lethal than before. Then we've got Eyes. Before, Eyes would just sit in one spot, waiting for you to accidentally look at it. But now, Eyes can teleport. Eyes is jumping around the room, appearing in different places out of nowhere. This makes moving through rooms a nightmare because at any moment, Eyes could pop up in your line of sight and punish you for not reacting fast enough. Now, here's where things get even trickier. Hide. We've all relied on hiding spots to stay safe from entities, like Rush and Ambush. But guess what? Hide has evolved too, and now it's able to block the last place you were hiding. When you try to hide again, that spot is no longer an option. This makes it impossible to survive Ambush if there is only one locker in the room. If they're already evolving this much, does that mean the entities will become even smarter and more dangerous as we go deeper? Maybe they'll gain new powers we haven't even seen yet, or they could start outthinking us in ways that push us to our limits. Alright, let's talk about the Laura figure in the mines. And honestly, it's kind of funny when you think about it. So, when we encounter Figure in the bridge room, you'll notice something interesting. He's not really chasing you on purpose. In fact, he's just roaming around aimlessly because he's basically lost. If you pay enough attention, you can see he actually falls off the bridge because he was going through the pipes, but they broke underneath him. It's a clumsy moment for such a terrifying creature, and you realize that every time you run into Figure in the next doors, he wasn't waiting for you at all. He's just wandering around, lost, and you happen to stumble across him. It's almost like these encounters are just bad luck for both of you. But here's where things get even more interesting. Figure might actually have some kind of eyes, or at least a type of visual sensor that reacts to light. Why? Well, if you point a laser pointer at his head, he goes absolutely crazy and will charge at you, trying to take you down. This suggests that Figure has sensitive receptors in his head, maybe even in his mouth, that are triggered by light. Now, this brings us to a super rare interaction that adds even more depth to Figure's character. It involves the Glombats. If you send Glombats towards Figure, something pretty wild happens. He goes berserk and tries to eat them. Why? Well, it seems that Figure's mouth can actually produce bioluminescent light, and this attracts the Glombats. They get curious and approach him, which is a huge mistake because Figure will immediately try to swallow them whole. This interaction is also incredibly rare. That's because both Figure and the Glombats have to appear in the mines at the same time, which doesn't happen very often. So, if you're lucky enough to witness it, consider yourself part of a very small group of players who've seen this unique behavior. So let's talk about Jeff. If you use the free camera mode to really inspect Jeff, you can actually spot something strange and unexpected: tentacles on his back. Behind Jeff, you'll notice something small but important: a coin. This little coin might be where he stores his money, or maybe it's just a symbol of his role as a shopkeeper. Either way, it's a fun little Easter egg for players who like to dig deeper into the game's details. Here's the final secret. Jack and Shadow make their comeback in the mines, but their true nature is still a mystery. Jack still pulls off his terrifying red room effect, turning the entire space blood red out of nowhere. It's as creepy as ever, but we still don't know why he does it. Then there's Shadow, one of the rarest entities. He shows up for just a second, disappearing as quickly as he appears, leaving us with more questions than answers.